So when you hear it's passing by Mars at a great distance.
The scene unfolding in deep space right now is unlike anything we've ever seen. Around a mysterious object called 3I Atlas, strange metallic shapes are appearing and growing at a shocking rate. At first, NASA scientists thought the odd reflections in their images were just errors, dust, or tricks of light. But as more data poured in from the Hubble and James Webb telescopes, the truth became clear. These weren't illusions. They were real, solid, geometric structures clinging to the comet's core. What began as a few shiny objects the size of cars quickly became dozens the size of houses. Now there are hundreds, some stretching over 200 feet across, floating eerily near the comet. Even more unsettling is how they're multiplying, not slowly, but in sudden bursts, quadrupling in number and size in weeks. It's an orderly pattern, not random chaos, and it's forcing scientists to rethink everything they know about comets. Comets are supposed to be icy, dusty wanderers. But these strange objects aren't ice and dust. Tests show they're made of nickel, iron, and rare metals. That alone makes this discovery historic. But the danger isn't just scientific curiosity anymore. It's becoming a planetary threat. 3I Atlas is on a path that takes it dangerously close to Mars. NASA originally predicted a near miss. But with these heavy, fast-growing metal structures, even a tiny change should fling them loose, turning them into high-speed projectiles. A single chunk the size of a school bus slamming into Mars could send up a dust cloud big enough to change its atmosphere for decades. Hundreds hitting at once would be catastrophic. This matters because Mars is humanity's future outpost. We place rovers, landers, and orbiters there to study its surface and prepare for human missions. A swarm of metallic impacts could destroy decades of work, darken the skies with dust, and strip away even more of the planet's fragile water vapor. Suddenly, our dream of colonizing Mars doesn't look so simple. The deeper mystery is why this is happening. Normal comet processes can't explain such neat, rapid growth. Some scientists whisper about new physics. Others wonder if 3I Atlas isn't a comet at all, but a seed-like object from another star system, a cosmic machine, or a kind of interstellar organism waking up under the sun's heat. Its metal appendages could be part of a larger hidden structure. Another theory says the comet might be generating huge magnetic fields, sweeping up stray metals from space and forging them into shapes like a giant cosmic factory. But if so, what powers it? And why now? Questions like these are keeping astronomers awake at night. The stakes are so high that NASA and space agencies worldwide are pooling resources to track every single metallic fragment. Supercomputers are modeling their paths, and engineers are brainstorming ways to deflect or break up the biggest ones. But there's no quick fix for hundreds of fast-multiplying targets. Worse, if these things can self-heal or replicate, hitting them might just make more. It's a dangerous gamble. This strange object, which has traveled millions or billions of miles from another star, may be the first true test of planetary defense. Not for Earth this time, but for Mars. And in solving it, we might finally learn how to protect our own planet from similar threats. Think about it. The nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, is 23 trillion miles away. Yet something from that far can arrive in our solar system carrying a mystery powerful enough to challenge all our science. 3I Atlas is forcing humanity to cooperate, innovate, and question everything. This event will change the way we explore space. Future missions will aim to intercept interstellar visitors earlier, study them up close, and maybe even prepare for objects like this before they reach us. 3I Atlas could be the spark that drives our next big leap into the unknown. The question now is no longer what is it, but what is it becoming? Are we seeing a natural process, or something far more intentional? Is this a random comet, or the first glimpse of a grander cosmic design? Whatever the answer, the metallic swarm around 3I Atlas is rewriting the story of our universe right before our eyes. Imagine the scene. In NASA's control rooms, teams stare at massive screens filled with streams of data. Each glowing dot represents one of these metallic anomalies, and every update shows them multiplying again. Supercomputers try to predict where they'll go, but the models keep breaking down because nothing like this has ever been recorded. The comet is rewriting the rules of physics in real time. And here's the part that unsettles scientists the most. The growth is consistent. Every few weeks, the swarm doubles, then doubles again, in a clockwork rhythm that looks almost programmed. Nature rarely works with such precision. That's why whispers of a self-organizing system are spreading through the scientific community. What if these objects are not just random chunks of metal, but parts of a larger structure, assembling piece by piece around 3i Atlas? This is where the story takes a darker turn. If the comet is some kind of interstellar seed, then what is it growing into? A machine? A vessel? Or something our minds aren't yet able to imagine? The answers matter because Mars and humanity's future missions there are directly in the line of fire. Consider what's at stake. Rovers like Perseverance are on the ground right now, gathering soil and rock samples that could prove life once existed on Mars. Orbiters are mapping the surface, preparing for the first human explorers. A major impact event could bury or destroy this work instantly. Even worse, a dusty shroud in the atmosphere could block solar power for months, stranding future crews in darkness. For now, Earth is safe, but the lessons we learn from this event could be vital when one day an object like this sets its sights on us. That's why international space agencies are treating 3i Atlas as not just a Martian problem, but a dress rehearsal for planetary defense. Radar dishes in California, Australia, Spain, and beyond are locked on the comet every hour. Algorithms race to keep pace with the anomalies. And engineers are sketching radical concepts, from high-speed interceptor drones to targeted energy pulses, to see if anything could stop the swarm if it turns toward Mars. The strange truth is, the comet might be forcing us to advance faster than ever before. In the face of mystery, humanity is uniting, pooling brainpower, resources, and courage. If this is a threat, we will fight it. If it's a discovery, we will chase it. Either way, we cannot ignore it. The countdown has begun. Every day brings the comet closer to its closest approach to Mars. The anomalies are now so large that they cast shadows across the comet's glowing coma. Telescopes track their eerie glint, like metal ships drifting silently through the void. The sense of unease is spreading, not just among scientists, but across the public too. News headlines call it NASA's Martian nightmare. Social media burns with speculation. Is this a natural phenomenon, or are we staring at evidence of something we've never dared to believe? Inside NASA, debates are heated. Some argue for action, intercept the fragments, fire test missions, anything to reduce the risk. Others warn against interference, saying we could trigger something we don't understand. What if these objects are linked, a single system, reacting as one? One wrong move could turn a mystery into a disaster. The biggest shock is the speed of change. Just as models adjust, the anomalies multiply again, throwing predictions into chaos. The rhythm is relentless, like a heartbeat echoing through space. It's no longer just about survival of Mars. It's about the terrifying possibility that this pattern is deliberate. And then comes the haunting thought. What if 3i Atlas is not just passing by? What if its journey always had a destination? Millions of years of silent travel across interstellar darkness, arriving here, now, in our solar system, just as humanity takes its first real steps toward the stars. Coincidence or design? The world is holding its breath. The comet will pass Mars soon. In that moment, we may finally learn if the anomalies will crash down in a deadly bombardment, or if they are preparing for something stranger, something that could redefine our place in the universe. Because if this is not a comet, if this is something else, then we are no longer alone in the story of creation. We are characters in a far greater drama, one just beginning to unfold. The moment of truth arrives. 3i Atlas sweeps past Mars, dragging its bizarre metallic swarm in tow. The red planet, silent and vulnerable, becomes a stage for one of the most extraordinary encounters in history. Telescopes across Earth focus on the spectacle. At first, the anomalies drift harmlessly like metallic clouds. Then, as Mars's thin gravity tugs at them, some begin to break formation. A handful of objects plunge into the atmosphere, glowing bright as they burn, but not all of them disintegrate. Several survive, slamming into the Martian surface with explosive force. Plumes of dust billow high, spreading across the planet's skies. The impacts carve fresh scars that orbiters quickly photograph, craters that weren't there the day before. But what comes next shocks the world. Some of the anomalies do not fall. Instead, they settle gently into orbit around Mars, holding formation as if obeying unseen commands. They glimmer like artificial satellites, aligned in strange geometric patterns. It looks less like random debris and more like construction. On Earth, the reaction is immediate. Governments call emergency sessions. Space agencies draft new protocols. Are we witnessing the birth of a Martian megastructure? A cosmic machine assembling itself in plain view? Or is it simply a natural process we don't yet understand? The most unsettling possibility is whispered in scientific circles, that Mars wasn't just in the comet's path by chance. That maybe, just maybe, Mars was a target all along. If so, then this event isn't a random brush with interstellar debris. It's a message, or worse, a seed planting itself on our planetary doorstep. And yet, amid the fear, there is awe. Humanity is seeing something no generation before has ever witnessed. The universe not as a static backdrop, but as an active stage where forces beyond imagination are at work. 3I Atlas has become more than a comet. It's a mirror, forcing us to face the limits of our knowledge and daring us to take the next leap forward. So here we are, on the edge of revelation. The red planet wears new scars, its skies darkened by fresh dust, and above it, mysterious metallic objects hover in silent patterns. Scientists scramble to decode their meaning. Engineers imagine missions to study them up close. And the rest of us are left to wonder how we just survived a cosmic accident or witnessed the opening act of something greater. Because one thing is certain. After 3I Atlas, the universe will never look the same again. In the cold darkness of space, a mystery unfolds. A comet called 3I Atlas approaches Mars, carried with it hundreds of strange metallic anomalies. At first, scientists thought they were just fragments of rock and ice. But soon, the truth became undeniable. These were not natural. These objects were growing, multiplying, becoming larger with every observation. NASA called it a Martian nightmare. What began as small shapes the size of cars had become monsters hundreds of feet across, surrounding the comet in a deadly swarm. And Mars stood directly in their path. Telescopes across the world locked onto the comet. Images reveal metallic bodies glimmering in the blackness, their outlines geometric, unnatural. At first, scientists predicted a near miss. Mars would be safe. But as the swarm multiplied, predictions collapsed. The numbers doubled, then quadrupled. Each new simulation ended the same way. Impact. Inside NASA, the mood turned grim. Supercomputers ran around the clock, tracking the swarm. Engineers discussed desperate defenses, interceptors, lasers, anything to deflect the incoming threat. But the truth was clear. There was no time and no technology ready for hundreds of targets. Mars was exposed. As the comet drew near, tension gripped the world. News outlets called it Doom over Mars. Social media exploded with theories, alien machines, interstellar weapons, even signs of a cosmic warning. In mission control rooms, silence fell as the comet's final hours approached. The anomalies glowed faintly, reflecting the light of the sun, drifting like a metallic storm cloud. And then, Mars's gravity reached out. The swarm began to break. Objects that had floated harmlessly now accelerated toward the planet. One by one, streaks of fire lit up the Martian sky. The first strike was caught by orbiters. A bright flash, then another, and another. Dozens of fireballs rained down. Each object hit the surface with the force of a nuclear bomb. Craters miles wide ripped open the ground. Shock waves shook the thin Martian atmosphere. Dust and rock blasted high into the skies, forming dark clouds that spread across the horizon. Rovers on the ground sent their last signals, garbled, panicked, and then silence. Years of exploration buried beneath the storm. From Earth, the images were haunting. The red planet, once a symbol of hope and colonization, was now shrouded in a choking haze. In the days that followed, the impacts continued. Not all objects struck at once. Some orbited briefly before falling, keeping the bombardment alive. The planet became a cosmic dartboard, peppered with hundreds of fresh scars. Dust storms raged, blocking sunlight, freezing the surface, and starving solar-powered machines. The thin atmosphere, already fragile, was pushed closer to collapse. What little water vapor Mars had left began to escape into space faster than before. Mars, humanity's dream of second home, was lost for decades, maybe centuries.